Today, we'll be learning about the types of intramolecular bonds, that is, the bonds within the molecules, that is, the bonds between the atoms. So, we will be learning mainly about these two, that is, covalent bonding and ionic bonding, or it is also known as electrovalent bonding. And these names it's themselves suggest a lot of things. So let us go to covalent bonding, which has which is that there are atoms which are together involved and they are sharing their electrons. There is sharing which is taking place, some kind of sharing. Valent, between the valence electrons of the constituent elements. That is what a covalent bond basically is, a sharing of electrons taking place, valence electrons taking place between the elements of the constituent elements of the molecule. While in case of ionic bond, you have the formation of ions which takes place. That is, you have atoms with positive charge and negative charge being formed, and then with electrostatic forces, since the plus and the minus charge attract each other, they are getting attracted to each other, and that's how they are getting bonded by the electrostatic forces. And in case of covalent bond, due to sharing of electrons, you'll notice there is an overlap of the orbitals. Now, if you would see, from this arise the other properties of these bonds. So you have got polarity, which is very low in case of covalent bonds, while it's high in case of ionic bonds, because you have in ionic bonds completely electronegative element and an electropositive element which are participating in the bond formation. So electropositive in the sense you have a metal and you have an electronegative, that is a non-metal, participating in the bond formation. That is the condition which is required. So you have sodium Na plus, a metal, an electropositive element, and Cl minus, an electronegative element. Actually, you have sodium and chlorine participating, but sodium gives one of its electrons to chlorine, and chlorine takes that electron because chlorine has more of electron affinity or electron negativity and acquires that negative charge, while sodium is ever so ready to give that electron because it is electropositive. And thus we have the formation of these ions, sodium ion and chlorine ion, taking place. While in covalent, and there is permanent charges which are formed, a permanent positive charge and a permanent negative charge, very high polarity, right? In case of covalent bond, as you've seen the water example, you have oxygen with partial negative charge, and you have hydrogens with this partial positive charge. It's partial, so there is less polarity. In case of the covalent bond between the atoms, it is quite strong because you have the sharing taking place and the orbitals are overlapping each other, so the bond is strong in case of its intramolecular force, while ionic is quite weak in that term. But if you see in case of intermolecular forces, the covalent bonds result in bonded molecules result in very weak intermolecular forces, while the ionic bonds result in strong intermolecular forces. So it's quite it might seem quite ironic first, but we'll be looking into this in my video on intermolecular forces of attraction. So, and this fact is the reason why covalent bonds are mainly liquids and covalently bonded molecules are usually liquids and gases at room temperature, while the ionically bonded ones, you'll find them as in solid state. because of the stronger intermolecular forces in case of ionic bond. That means there is less of intermolecular space, right? There is less space between the different molecules, and so they're more compact, and hence they get that solidity in them, which is not in the case of covalent bonds. This results in ionic bonds having a very high melting and boiling point, while covalently bonded molecules have less melting point and boiling point comparatively, and they have got a definite shape, which is not in the case of ionic bond. So these are the differences in and how we classify these. Also, we should note that covalent bonds occur between two non-metals, while the as we have seen, the ionic bonds occur between a metal and a non-metal. So in case of covalent bonds, you have various types, and let's look at it as it with an example of S8. Here I've drawn it as a ring structure. Actually, it is a crown shaped molecule. This is just to understand this concept. So we have these single bonds between the sulfur atoms. They are single bonded, single covalently bonded. Now if you see, oxygen is having a double bond, nitrogen is having a triple bond, and this actually increases most of the time the bond energy, that is the energy required to break the bond. Another way of categorizing the covalent bonds are whether they are polar or non-polar. So sulfur has all these sulfur atoms, right? It's all sulfur here. So all of them have same electronegativity. So the electrons are quite, everywhere equally. There is very less chance of formation of electron dense regions in particular area, and it's a non-polar molecule therefore. But in case of a polarized covalent bond like H2O, which is polar, you have oxygen, which is having a negative partial charge, while hydrogen a positive charge. That is a polar covalent bond. So this is how we can even classify them, and these small differences make big changes in the way these molecules react, what their chemical nature is, and all these things.